Welcome to the Copper State Fit podcast, where we help men and women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s transform their bodies, energy, and confidence without extreme diets or endless cardio. You've worked hard to build your career, your family, and your life, but along the way, your health took a backseat. Now it's time to get back what you've lost. Each episode, we'll cut through the noise and bring you real-world strategies in nutrition, training, and mindset to help you drop body fat, boost energy, and perform at your best without giving up carbs, fun, or your social life. I'm your host, Adam Petropoulos, head coach and founder of Copper State Fit. Let's redefine what's possible, one episode at a time. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Don't Sleep on Sleep. I'm your host and head coach, Adam Petropoulos. Quick reminder, this is the audio pulled directly from a live workshop that I hosted. So if you hear me reference visuals, charts, or slides, and you think, what the heck is he talking about? That's why. And if you want to watch the full workshop and get the workbook that walks you through everything step by step, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or send me an email and I'll send it right over to you. In part 1, we broke down why sleep is the missing link for fat loss, performance, and recovery. And today we're going to get a little bit more tactical and we're going to talk about sleep saboteurs. What's wrecking your sleep so that you know exactly what to focus on? Let's get into it. So let's talk about what the science says and what to track. So these are the top 5 mistakes sabotaging your sleep. And guys, you just don't need more sleep. You need to remove what's blocking it. So here are the 5 most common culprits. 1, inconsistent sleep schedule. Okay. So staying up later or sleeping in later. Yes, even on weekends, guys. Okay. Addiction to screens. So talking Netflix, work, being on laptops, computers, things like that, late into the evening, doom scrolling on social media, right? Guys, the blue light emitted from screens actually tells our brain and our body that it's still daylight. So it suppresses melatonin production, which is an important hormone for helping us fall asleep. Caffeine or alcohol have pretty profound effects. Even an afternoon coffee or that glass of wine with dinner can wreck the sleep quality. So again, the REM sleep and deep sleep. Overstimulation. So late night workouts. If you're working out too close to bedtime, believe it or not, that can actually have an impact on sleep the next day. Or even stressing, just literally stressing about the next day can really impact sleep. Okay. And poor sleep hygiene. So no wind down routine, chaotic environment. I mean, just busy environment, too loud, too noisy, a room that's too hot, too bright. Okay. So temperature is really important as well. So let's talk first about sleep consistency. Like, what is that? That's one of the first things that I want you guys to understand has a big impact. And so your body runs on a 24-hour clock, your circadian rhythm. I'm sure we've heard of that before. That controls sleep, hormones, energy, and metabolism. And the number one anchor for controlling sleep consistency and this circadian rhythm is to go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends and within a 30-minute window, right? So just as an example, if let's say 11 p.m.'s bedtime, okay, maybe on weekends it's 11:30, or maybe you get to bed a little bit sooner at a 10:30, okay? But we've got a 30-minute window on either side, both on the weekdays and weekends. Inconsistency. So just all over the map, weekdays, weekends, waking up at a different time, sleeping in, not waking up, at the same time on the weekends. It confuses that internal clock, okay? What that starts to do is delay and disrupt melatonin production and even cortisol, which we'll get to here in a second. But cortisol is super duper important. It should go high and it should be the highest in the morning. It should have a gradual drop off, kind of a midday trough, I would say, hits bottom, comes back up a little bit for the afternoon, and then kind of trails off in the evening, okay? Cortisol should be high in the morning. That's the hormone that helps us actually wake up. But if it's actually too high at night, again, we're in the fight or flight mode instead of that rest and repair mode, then that's the hormone that's signaling we should be awake. Melatonin, on the other hand, is the one that helps us fall asleep. And that should actually rise at night. So cortisol should go down throughout the day and melatonin should go up late or into the evening. And so when these get out of sync, guys, because again, going to bed, waking up, going to bed, waking up all over the place, you're going to feel sluggish but during the day. We're going to need that extra caffeine, which is then going to screw up the deep sleep, which we'll talk about later, right? And you're going to pump that caffeine, but then at nighttime, we get home and it's like, hey, it's bedtime. It's 11 o'clock or whatever your bedtime is, and we can't sleep. So you're tired by day, you're wired at night. All right. And a lot of this can be fixed with just that one thing, the sleep consistency. So inconsistent sleep disrupts the peripheral clocks in muscle and liver tissue, leading to fat gain, muscle breakdown, and impaired metabolism. So kind of the same thing with this study right here was that it wasn't much with weight changing, but body composition changes. Back to, again, body fat percentage was growing and increasing, okay? So again, irregular sleep, guys, disrupts your rhythm and your results. Let's talk about the one that we hear most of the time, like how much sleep should you get, right? And are you getting enough? Listen, we can't out supplement, out train, or out coach your way out of sleep deprivation. The sweet spot is between 7 to 9 hours, and that is of actual sleep per night, not just time in bed, okay? So, if it takes you a while to fall asleep, that's something to take into consideration, but 7 to 9 hours of actual sleep. Less than 7 hours a night puts you at higher risk of fat gain, slow recovery, impaired focus, mood, and willpower. Listen to this, one study that was conducted over the course of 16 years. I mean, this was a long study that had 68,000 participants. They were women, found that sleeping 5 to 6 hours, they were 33% more likely to gain 33 plus pounds or more. Okay. That was the only thing tracked there, or that was the difference in the study over 16 years. Here is that if you want to screenshot that and check into that study just a little bit more. So again, 7 to 9 is kind of the sweet spot. Those sleeping 5 to 6 were gaining about 33 plus pounds more. All right. Another 6-year study, so a little short, a third of the study from before, but still pretty long, 6 years, showed that short sleepers, those who slept less than 7 hours per night, gained 124% more body fat than the average sleeper. All right. So again, sleep debt compounds like interest, guys. Okay. So we, you don't get a gold star for pushing through the day, white knuckling it, just being tired, exhausted all the time. We have to also work on the other side of that coin and we have to get sleep and recover from that. Cool. So we've talked about sleep consistency. We've talked about sleep quantity, how much we should get. Now let's talk about sleep quality. It's not just about how much sleep you get. Okay. It's about what happens when you sleep. All right. So there are two key stages we're going to talk about tonight that really are the ones that you should focus on. So number one is deep sleep. I mentioned before, think of that as where your body repairs. That's physical recovery, building your immune function, growth hormone release, insulin sensitivity, reduces that allostatic load that we talked about a little bit earlier. So that's the stage of deep sleep. The other stage to look at is REM sleep. Rapid eye movement is what REM stands for. And that is where your brain repairs, your memory, your mood, willpower. Okay. That is the stage of sleep that's often disrupted by alcohol, caffeine, stress, and the sleep timing inconsistency, the consistency of your sleep, going to bed, waking up. Okay. Poor REM sleep, guys, take note here, has also shown links to cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia, often referred to now, guys, as type 3 diabetes. Okay. So not only in your body are we developing insulin resistance, but even at the level of the brain, that can happen too. All right. So here's a study too that even when sleep duration stayed the same. So for these people in this study, they were sleeping an adequate amount of hours. Okay. But their quality, their deep sleep and REM sleep were not on par. And they too lost muscle mass and increased body fat. Okay.
So if you want better energy, mood, metabolism, guys, prioritize how well you sleep and not just how long.
All right, now you know what's going wrong, but knowing isn't enough. In part 3, I'm going to give you the exact system we use with our clients. We call it the CSF 85321 sleep protocol. And I'll give you a simple 7-day plan to start fixing your sleep immediately. Again, if you want the full workshop plus a workbook to follow along and implement this, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or shoot me an email and I'll send it right over. I'll see you in part 3. Thanks for tuning in to the Copper State Fit podcast. I'm your host, Coach Adam Petropoulos. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, share, and leave a review. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Copper State Fit. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways from today's show. Until next time, keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep living in a state of fit.